So a group of female religious leaders or female ulama in Indonesia, and for which I have made a documentary. I followed them and I filmed them. So because part of their program is to understand the lived realities in societies, especially women's lived realities. So in their program, they visited the sex work area. So I followed them in the van. So in the van, I was chatting with them. So I said, "Oh, okay, how do you feel?" They say, "Oh, they feel so nervous because they admit their life is just in the religious boarding school in the pesantren. So they say they've never met a sex worker before. So actually, in that sex work area, there's an NGO who dealt with HIV/AIDS that gave support. So they organized the meeting between the female ulama and the sex workers. So in the beginning, they arranged for one female ulama to meet one sex worker, and then because they're not comfortable, they said, "Can two of us meet one?" So they said, "Okay." So then I followed, one or two of them to film, and I was so touched that within, let's say 15 to 30 minutes of the meeting up, the religious woman already hugged the sex worker like her own daughter. Yeah, so that's so, for me, that's so memorable, and I felt so touched. So then the sex worker, whispered a lot of things to that religious woman about her life, about her problems, and I love the way she said it. She said, when I cry, so many people listen, like my husband, like the society. But when you cry, nobody listens. So I understand, she said. So for me, it's touching that they don't have any judgments, and and then after that, they went back to their madrasah. They discussed about the structural poverty, that happen in society. So this is inspired from that.